everyone, welcome back to our off-grid homestead. We've also rigged up a system in the enclosure for our camper life to make getting water just a little bit easier when the pipes are frozen. And so we're going to be checking on all that progress. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We have so much random stuff going on that I'm just going to give you snippets of this, that, and the other thing. But we were at 22 this morning. That's pretty chilly. And since we have gravity feed water, we have to think of creative ways to work around that. We have a tank up on the hill. We gravity feed it down. We fill the tank up on the hill from our well with a solar well pump. It pumps it up into the holding tank, which is an IBC tote. We have it underground, piped down to the house and the camper. We're still staying in the camper since we're building. Hopefully that'll change soon. But on these cold days, we have had to think about different things, just a few nuances. The water to the house is fine. It's completely under the ground. It goes into the house. We have water, as long as we have water in the tank. But between the house and the camper, we run a hose from a spigot. And so that, when it's this cold, freezes. And we don't really want to run an underground line because this is not a permanent setup. And it's just easier to have a garden hose for when we need to move it around. So we haven't really committed to digging underground for all that. We're close to getting into the house. So Andrew worked up an interesting thing. It was him and Greg putting their heads together, coming up with this system. I am standing in the enclosure where we have our wood stove, and it is going. It's not blazing right now, but it's going. And we have this big green tank behind me. This is a 50-gallon drum. At one time, it had pineapple juice concentrate in it, so it is food grade. You want to make sure it's food grade. And then what we wanted to do was have a water tank in this enclosure, in this heated space, so that we had room temperature water or warm water at all times when the water freezes. So we fill this up. This is not something that is filling up now because everything is frozen. We fill it up from the main line coming into the camper, and then Andrew has run this tank. This is a Harbor Freight pump. Well, as you can see, this is not a brand spanking new pump. It already has rust on it. We had it outside. We were using this to pump water from the IBC tanks at one point. This is a Drummond pump. Pretty easy to find at Harbor Freight. We've had it for many years. So what he did is he cut a hole in the top of our drum. So he has water lines coming in, and you can see the different water lines in here. We have the water lines going over here, up and over, and then this one is the one that I showed you on our water tank, our water system video. I can move this flashlight up to where it gets stored. Okay, I can barely reach this, but I can do it. Okay, so this is this has one of these valves on it, and it's very convenient because this water comes in and it fills up the Berkey. So there's the Berkey, and that filters our drinking water. Okay, and the other water lines are coming in behind that little curtain that you can see. So we can either turn the hot water on to heat this, where it'll go through the tank and then coming into the RV, or we can just use it plain, which is great. He had a lot of time fiddling with this because this is an old pump, and this component up here, I believe this metal one, has been leaky, and so he had to replace different parts on it. We probably will have to upgrade this system pretty soon, but for now it's working pretty well. And I'm not getting into the specs of it. I just wanted to show you what we did. So because we have the wood stove going, and this is quite near it, the water coming out so far, we get room temperature water actually on the more edge of warm, and that's way better than the freezing cold water that's coming from up the hill. Let me tell you, when your hands are cold and you get freezing cold water, it's no fun. So let me show you what happens when I turn the water on. It's kind of loud. Okay, that was running hot water. And that was running cold water. And so since this is the first day this has been in operation, we have a few questions about why does it keep cutting on and off, on and off, on and off, and it seems to be drawing so much power that it's making our lights in the camper flicker. So we're thinking this is definitely not a long-term solution because of the drain on the solar, but for now this is a great solution because, as I mentioned, it being 22 this morning, we have shut off the line from the house to the RV, and I don't think you can see it out here because the skid steer is in the way. Yeah, somewhere over behind all that wood on that corner, kind of where that tool is, we have a water spigot that is currently turned off so that we don't get a frozen hose. All right, so that's what we have that's our funny little thing to get water. So far it works great, and until the water freezes, I'm going to be taking off of this tank, and so obviously I'm not going to be taking a bath with this. I could, but then I'd use it all up. I did wash dishes, we'll probably use it to fill the Berkey, but I just filled that last night. And that's that. Well, what do you think? We have come up with a solution that's working with us so far, and that's one of the things about living off-grid, doing gravity feed, using alternative energy sources and water sources. We have gotten many opportunities to think of better, different, alternative ways to do things. So this may not be the best solution for your situation, but so far for us it's worked. If you see something that you've done that you recommend that we haven't thought of, please go ahead and share. We're open to that. We have not done something here where we're doing like the copper coils around the wood stove because we're not actually planning to use this to take baths and so forth. We have the house where we have the gravity feed coming into the house, and that system is working pretty well. This is just for while we are still living in our camper so that we can wash dishes, wash our hands, flush the toilets, all that kind of stuff that's necessary. And I will say that I really, really love washing my hands in water that's not freezing cold. Much better. So let us know what you think, and thank you for joining us on our video. I would love it if you'd subscribe and follow with us on our journey. We have plenty of more things to talk about. We have the house that we're working on finishing. We have all kinds of stuff. Every day it seems like we have something new to think of on the homestead, to come up with a solution for. And so some would call it challenges, some would call it something really hard, and some people are just gonna look on the bright side and call it opportunities to learn. So today we're going to call it an opportunity to learn. Don't ask me about tomorrow. I may be discouraged. Thank you for watching. Like our video if you do, share it, and yeah, have a great Christmas.